in. If you catch the replay, hello, hello. This is Women in Transition, and I want to talk to you about the fear of being the first, especially if you are in the Gen X generation. Now, you might be like, what do you mean the first? We're always the first. Yes, absolutely. We are most assuredly the first. We're early adopters on things. Like we are cusp babies. We're the first generation who knows life before social media and life after. That's us, right? Like we know unequivocally what it's like to have to go outside and play, and we know unequivocally what it's like to have the outside be in our phone and everything that we need be right there in front of us so that we don't actually have to leave the house if we don't want to. But that's not what I mean. Part of being of a certain age, the Gen X generation, is that we carry a lot of legacy. I made a point to say in a previous video that the things that the boomers worked so hard to get passed legislatively, Gen X had to implement on the ground. So we are used to being the first through the door in many, many different ways. And that is an amazing thing, even though sometimes it makes us really tired of always having to be the first, right? Always having to push the envelope and always having to make the lane and always having to take the hit so that the ones behind us as they're coming can have it easier, right? We are soldiers in that way. We understand that somebody has to go through the door first, and Gen X has been that kind of generation where we will try the new thing, even though it's the hard thing and the scary thing, and we don't really know what to do. We'll do it. We'll try it. We'll figure it out. Like I can guarantee you right now, there are a ton of women and men and women in the Gen X generation who are like, AI, let me figure out how I can make this happen. Because the one thing that we do understand is evolution, right? Progress. And so we're used to having to push through into spaces where we don't know what the heck the landscape is supposed to look like because nobody's made that landscape before. And here we come. It's us. We're making the landscape. We're doing it. We're tilling the ground and planting the seeds, or looking at the seedlings that someone else has planted but didn't quite know how to, cultivate, and going, I think I can add something to that. I think I can do something with that, right? But I want to talk to you about this idea that we sometimes forget that we're not just soldiers. We sometimes forget that we are, in fact, beings, that we are allowed to start over in ways that don't look like constantly pushing forward into new places and being the first and taking all the hits, right? Hang on just a second. Hello, hello there, and thank you for tuning in. We're constantly forgetting sometimes that because we're so used to being first in line for the new thing, like I said, we're the generation who knows completely what it's like. Like we were the transition generation into the social media chaos that we know now. We were the beeper generation, cell phones and cars, right? So we are like, we get cutting edge, we get technology, we get progress, we get evolution. We love all that stuff. But what we don't always know is how to break free of those lanes. And that's what I want to talk to you about very briefly. You know me, I'm only here for a short time, but I hope it's a good time. We don't always know how to break free from the lanes that we have pushed into and pushed forward for the people coming behind us. And so we get stuck, right? We get into these ruts and we keep doing the things. We keep pushing forward. We keep advancing. Like I said, I guarantee you that out there in the world, there are Gen X women and men who are like, AI, give me a couple of months. I'm gonna figure out how to make this work. The Gen X generation just doesn't understand the word stop. Like, if there's a new thing on the horizon, how do I figure this out? You want me to write Python? Give me a year. You want me to figure out C++? Okay, great. Not that's even written anymore, but you get what I'm saying. And so it becomes second nature to push into new horizons. It becomes second nature. It's like we do it in our sleep, right? We can take the innovations and push them forward because that's what we do. But I want to ask you, have you taken on the mantle of constantly being in the lanes that you've burrowed into, that you are not even paying attention to the fact that you don't want to be there anymore? Maybe you are tired of constantly having to burrow through in the lanes that you've burrowed into and made bigger for other people behind you, but you've been doing it for so long that you've just forgotten that you can stop. That you have forgotten that you can be the first to say, you know what? I think I'm done with this. This is good. This was fun. Gave it a good 20 years. But I think now I'm ready to go do something else. And I think that because we are so conditioned, especially that generation, like I said, the generation after the baby boomers passed a bunch of legislation, fought and marched and got things done, we were the implementation generation. So we hit the ground in the 80s and 90s and we got to work, right? We got to work. We got to work doing a lot of things. But sometimes when you're working so hard at one goal, you don't even realize that's not your goal anymore. That the lane is wide enough for other people to come in and take over and do it, and you can go do something else. You have the right to start a new lane, a fresh start, and go do something else. I was talking to, before I get into that story, let me see. Hello, Stacy. It's good to see you. Hello. I am doing very well. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. I was having a conversation with some women, and one of the things that we were talking about was the fact that it is very difficult for some people to recognize that your version of the dream of life is not everybody else's version. So if you choose to say, get your passport, sell all your stuff and move to another country, you may be the first person in your family to ever even think that was a possibility. To rewrite your family history to include a move away from your country of origin is a big deal. But that may be the lane that you need to tread in at this point, because where you are no longer works for you. Maybe your lane is, not only do we have a house, we have 2 more houses and a vacation home. And that's the lane that I'm going to tread in now, because I've done the hard work and built the empire and made the money. And now I want to go over here and play. It is hard sometimes to remember that you are allowed to change your mind and start something new. You are allowed to be the first one in your family to not live in the same town that you were born in. You are allowed to be the first one in your family to leave the country. You are allowed to be the first one in your family not to go into the family business. You're allowed to be the first one in your family to start a business as opposed to get a job, or to get a job as opposed to start a business. When you reach a certain age, I'm that age. Hello, nice to meet you. You have some choices that you get to make that you couldn't make in your 20s because you didn't know anything yet. And you couldn't make in your 30s because you were just living out your 20s and you don't really still know anything yet, but you're getting better. And by the time you hit your 40s, you probably had a couple of kids, and now you're like, I can't make any different choices because I got kids now and I got these responsibilities. Well, guess what? Hit about 45, a little bit older, and now you start looking around going, is this all I'm going to be doing? The answer to that is only if that's what you want to be doing. Only if that is where you see yourself going. Only if that's the road you want to continue to build into, because that's what you've always done. But I'm going to remind you that just as you have been the first to make inroads into things that never existed before, y'all, Gen X got it going on because we have done things first, right? First, we did it first. We have done so many of those things first that we forget that sometimes the thing that we need to do first is pick a new lane. Hi, Amy. It's good to see you. Is pick a new lane. Is pick a different path than the one that we've always been on, or that our family's always been on, or whomever's always been on. And that can be hard. And I get that. But I also know that one of the beautiful things about being of a certain generation, when you have done the first things first, when you have been on the cusp of new technologies, when you have been boots on the ground for the first time, things that are happening, like I said, trust me, somewhere in some company, women, men of the Gen X generation who are currently computer programmers are like, or in HR or whatever, are like, what is this AI thing? Okay, we can figure this out. Give us 6 months. We'll figure out how to make it work. We'll figure out how to shine it up and polish it and make it useful. And you know why I know they're doing that? Because never in our imagination, when we were running around in the streets and drinking out of hoses, did we imagine that one day we'd be on our phones, going live into YouTube, that we would be using voice chat and text messaging and using our thumbs to type. Y'all, I had to take typing class. All the fingers on the keys. And now I only need these two, right? That generation knows how to get into the new thing and make it work. And what I am telling you is, your life does not have to be constantly being in the lane of making it work for other people. Your life can absolutely be the first life that looks different, that doesn't follow the trend of whatever it is that you've been following, that doesn't follow the pattern of whatever your family has done, that doesn't follow the narrative of whatever society has placed upon you as acceptable. Because you actually come from a generation of people who looks at acceptable and goes, I'll see your computer science and I'll raise you AI, right? Because we are that generation. We know how to look at it. Yes, the Jetsons was a big hit, right? But here's the thing. We're not shocked that there are no flying cars. We're not shocked that there are no flying cars yet. We're more interested in how you can make our lives easier and better. And flying cars was never big on our list. They were fun, but they were never big on our list. But houses that talk to us, who adopted those smart homes when they came out? First with the Nest, first with the Ring cams, first with the whole home Wi-Fi systems. Immediately, you simply have to say to a Gen X person, oh, well, here's a new thing. And we're like, let me see how I can flip and make this work for me. Let me see if I can make it do something interesting. And so what I am saying to you, if we can do that with technology, if we can do that with so many things that make life better for other people, it is time for you to think about how you can take that same drive, that same passion to push forward, that same ability to make it happen, and apply it to your life in ways that may make you the first, but it will set a precedent behind you for the others to say, well, if you can do that too, then maybe I can too. Maybe I can do that too. That's not a bad legacy to leave behind. And at this point in life, legacy is not something that we're necessarily hardcore about, but it is something that we think about. It is something that we think about. What is our legacy going to be? And I would like for your legacy to start with you saying, I want to be the first that sat on the beach and sipped a free drink. And that's where I spent my days. Painting, writing, singing, playing an instrument, opening an animal sanctuary, opening a yoga studio. Whatever it is that you have put off being the first to help the world become a better place, I would like for you to think about how you could use that same drive to make your life become exactly what you want it to be in this next chapter. That's all. You can be the first. It'll be scary, but you know how to do scary. It'll be interesting, and we love interesting. And most importantly, it'll be yours at a time when it may feel like the world isn't necessarily checking for you and what you need and how to keep you happy. This is an opportunity to push into a place to make yourself happy and to bring yourself peace. Because you know me, I'm all about protecting your peace. No flying cars. No flying cars, Amy, but we have robots. We have robots. I don't know about y'all, but I love the Roomba. I love that something else will vacuum my house for me. And that makes my whole point. We will move into a lane that we have never seen before and go, use that? Tell us how much. Take our money. You need to make it better. Let us beta test it for you. I was one of the original beta testers for Netflix. When Netflix first came onto the scene, I'm going to date myself, but that's okay. I was given a DVD and a packet and a letter from Netflix saying, we would like for you to join our beta program of movie rental. So for years and years and years before Netflix became nothing but streaming, I had a $4.99 Netflix subscription. It never changed. I paid $4.99 for it because I was part of the beta testers. And the beta testers pushed out this idea that you didn't need to go to Blockbuster and Hollywood Video anymore. You could have movies delivered literally to your house. And then you just put them in an envelope and send them back. In some ways, Netflix is our fault. Okay, I'm sorry. I get it. I'm sorry. However, my point is, what they understood is that when you have, hang on, right? So many Jetsons things we actually do have now. So it's really funny. But when you have a generation who's not afraid to push through into lanes that don't exist, technology takes off, right? And Gen X has done that for a lot of technologies that are just second nature today. We adopt so many things and we let go of so many old things because we are not afraid to move into new lanes. But sometimes we get into a rut in our own personal lanes and we start to stagnate and we start to not realize that we could move into new lanes and do new things because we're so good at doing everything for everybody else. Y'all listen. Cassette tapes, CDs, thumb drives, streaming services. Before there was Spotify, I was a Napster kid, right? Like all of those things happened after I was born. So when I tell you that Gen X knows how to ride a new lane, regardless of what generation it fell in, we absolutely know how to ride a new lane, no matter what generation it fell in. No matter what. You also can thank us for leg warmers and bad hairspray, but I digress. I digress. Anyway, I want you to think about that today. I want you to think about where in your life have you not been pushing forward into a new lane because you are so focused on other people's lanes, and that's where you might have needed to be, or because the lane that you want to push into looks so different than what's around you right now. And I use the Netflix and all the innovations to remind you that at one point in time, all of this was foreign and different, and we had no idea what was coming. And yet we wholeheartedly embraced the change because that's just what we do. That's just who we are. Your life does not have to look like it does right now. And I'm not some big self-help motivation, rah-rah, hanging from the ceilings. I'm a very practical scientist who understands that change that we help to grow into billion-dollar companies is the same change that can put you in that business that you love. Is the same change that can turn your entire world and the future of your family into something else. It's the same energy. It's the same movement. It's the same planning. It's the same hope. It's the same belief. So I hope you got something out of this little message that I wanted to put out there today. I really am encouraging so many of us to stop for a minute in the chaos of the day and just ask yourself, is this where I want to be? And if not, can I be the first person to say, I'm out? This is not what I want to do anymore. Or to say, I'm in. This is what I want to do now. I might have done this whole thing back here for the past 20 years, but I'm going to do this now. Because today, we're stuck with, some companies that we don't love. But y'all already know that tomorrow's already here. It's already here. We're already living in another reality. We just haven't caught up to the stuff yet. And when we catch up to the stuff, Gen X will come in and go, we'll take one of those. Thank you for making our lives a little bit easier. And we will run with it. And we'll make it our own because we understand that sometimes you just have to move into a new lane and keep growing. I want you to do that for your personal life as ferociously as you would do it for technology. That's all. All right, it's Dr. Sasheen. Thanks for tuning in. I really appreciate it. Amy, thanks for hanging with me, and everyone else who dropped a comment. Thank you all so much. Tell me, if you grew up in the Jetsons generation, what fun technologies do you see now that we grew up watching on TV and we're like, that'll never happen. And all of a sudden we're all like, oh, I can't even remember a day without having this thing. Hey, Cicely. Thank you, Amy. I really appreciate it. Because I can tell you, when I remind people that you used to not be able to take your phones anywhere. Like, you couldn't even take them in. Like, the phone was attached to the wall. They don't believe me. And you know why? Because houses aren't even built with phone jacks anymore. They're not even built with phone jacks anymore. It's crazy. Just crazy. All right. I'm off my soapbox. I'm off. It's just, yeah. And now it's not even a phone anymore. We're carrying around a miniature computer in our pockets. Technology, right? Again, we'll adopt it. We're happy to move forward with the world. Now I just want you to move forward with yourself. That's all. I want you to move forward with yourself. All right. Thank you for tuning in. I really appreciate you hanging with me for the past 20 some minutes. For those of you who did, for those of you who just came in, hello. Oh my God, FaceTime. Y'all don't keep me on this thing for too long. FaceTime, right? I mean, so many things. So many. Remember when you watch, okay, maybe it's just me. I used to watch Knight Rider, and it was so cool that Kit could talk, the car. Our cars drive themselves now, right? Like, literally, our cars can drive themselves, and they will talk to us if we want them to. When I'm using my Waze app, there's a man talking to me, and if I'm really lazy, the car will drive itself down the road. Now, it won't drive itself through town. I'm not quite there on autonomous driving vehicles yet, but that's because I'm not that trusting when it comes to the automobile aspect. But, oh my gosh, talk to text. Holy cow. We don't have to do the thumb thing anymore. Right? We don't even have to text anymore. Now we can just talk it out, and it'll just take our voice and turn it into whatever we want it to. Not right. So we don't have flying cars yet, but they do everything else. Literally, they're doing everything else right now. Short of fixing our dinner and washing our clothes for us, our cars are literally doing everything else. And in some countries, they might actually be fixing your dinner, or at least delivering your dinner for you. I was watching, okay, I have to let y'all go, but I was watching some videos from Japan, and I was just like, am I living in the Twilight Zone? Because they have robots delivering things to their homes. Literal robots. Now, granted, Japan is living in the 22nd century already. They have been for quite a while, and they're a smaller country, and yes, and yada, yada, yada. But still, robots are going to be bringing things to our homes sooner than later. Okay, I have to go. It's time to fix dinner for my family, but thank you all for tuning in. Once again, please like, subscribe, and share, and I will see you again tomorrow. Take care, everyone. Bye for now.